Hey you! Hey, how do you move like that?
Move like what?
You move so light, like a feather.
Oh, you're talking about how light my backpack is.
I guess so. You look so large and slow, so it must be a backpack.
Well, if you want to know what's inside this lightweight, budget, cheap bag right here, you're gonna have to go to the Jack Commode YouTube channel.
What's a Jack Commode?
Oh, you haven't heard of it? That's a shame. You better look it up so you can get the secrets to how I can move like this.
Wow, he's really weird. But I do want to know about his ultralight yet ultra budget backpacking setup for winter New Zealand in 2025. I better go and look it up.
Hello. If you've seen my channel before, welcome back. And if you're new, thanks for being here. In this video, I'll be running through my backpacking / hiking / tramping setup for the winter in New Zealand this year. Gear is pivotal in cold weather, particularly this far south in the world where there's ice and snow, and it can get really expensive. So I wanted to share today how I can be prepared with the right gear but not break the bank. Check the description if you want a full breakdown of my gear list, and without further ado, let's get into it.
So this video is filmed in reverse order. This clip you're seeing here is actually the next day, as yesterday, when I explained all the gear, I had some unexpected rainstorms come through, so that makes for an entertaining video. But let's get a good overview before we jump back in time to see what I did yesterday. So laid out all on the floor here is my backpacking setup for winter 2025 in New Zealand. From bottom to top, we've got a Life straw drink bottle, we've got a dry bag that gets filled with my winter clothes or food, my hiking shoes, we've got a very large sleeping bag rated to 0 degrees, lightweight tent from MacPack, lightweight sleeping bag that goes inside this one, waterproof trousers, rain poncho, pillow, puffer jacket, sleeping pad, dry bag for technology, gas cooker, water bottle, and my pack full of other miscellaneous items. So let's dive in. Some of this is new, some of this is old. We're going to do a bit of a review on some of the new items and if I think it's worth it. Everything's budget here. All this together comes to under $600. So let's dive in and let's check it out. Alright, so with all the gear laid out here, it really doesn't look like that much. And that's because there's no food and there's no water. So that takes up a large chunk of space in your bag and you've got to take that into account. But the first bit of gear we're going to get into is my tent. So this is a new tent from what I used in Western Australia. This is a tent I bought from MacPack, brand new, for $300. It's a Zempire Atom 2 and I've only used it one time so far, and that was actually just a trial run in the backyard. It's lightweight, only weighing 1.7 kilograms, which was lighter than my tent I had back home. Still a really good budget lightweight hiking tent, and let's set it up and go through what it looks like. So you can see it's probably just over a foot wide, and you do have these straps to tighten it up, but that's not that important. Comes in an orange color, and I'm not sure if it comes in another color there, but bag comes out, and then we get our fly and our base sheet. So we've got ground pegs. These are like really lightweight metal aluminium, and then it's a really unique one pole design, so you only need to navigate one pole. Let's get the fly out the way and let's get this set up. So these are the tent poles here, aluminium ones, cheapest chips, and if you need to you can get replacement ones really easily. These haven't bent, and I use these in pretty hard sort of clay soil, so my first review is, yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so it's all pegged down and it's a really interesting shape. It's actually shaped like a diamond, which I haven't seen in a one-person tent before. It's a really smart design. We'll get the pole out, get it set up, and then we'll run through a little bit closer. So that took about 2 minutes to set up here, and you can see here we've got the pole in position, and then we sort of have this helicopter blade in the middle here. So what that does is that gives us the width in the tent. So you can probably do this with one hand, but you just pop it into the little, didn't film that well, into that little loop, and then we repeat the same on the other side. And then that pole there gives us our width. So this is the skeleton of the tent. You can see we've got a pretty good footprint on the ground here with enough space, definitely to put your bag in and to put your sleeping mat in. And we've got this side zip system here, which is really handy. So I'm going to jump inside and show you what space is like. You can see I can sit up pretty much all the way in this point here. It's a little bit less spacious on the sides, but we've got some tent pockets inside here to put your valuables. You should be so far away from other people you don't need to worry about your valuables, but yeah, if you're laying down, it is a bit of a snug fit. I can move around, but yeah. Pros, super lightweight, easy to set up. Cons, a little bit less space than say the Denali Kakadu 2, and a little bit more expensive than the Denali Kakadu 2. But overall, a really solid tent. And so here is the go around. You can see we've got these really lightweight aluminium pegs, and they've got these little rubber things on there to stop the elastic from the sharp edges of the peg. Walking around, you can see pretty simple. There's about 6 tie down points, and if you really wanted to, you could set up this drawstring as well, which is to make sure the rain runs off the tent evenly. But yeah, really solid, not going to go anywhere, and for 300 bucks brand new, you can pick it up secondhand for cheaper, but I don't want to sleep in your filthy secondhand tent. Wonderful. Now again, the Kakadu 2 is just such a good tent that I do have some criticisms of this one. It is that sort of side system where it side zips up rather than having one thing in the middle, and I'll show you what that looked like in my Denali Kakadu tent. But if we look from the inside here, you can see we get really nice coverage, and the ground sheet comes up nicely as well. So yeah, let's get a look from inside the tent. Now in setting up the tent, the fly is the only little bit annoying part. Just getting the pegs in the right spot. You got to get to know the tent a little bit, and I'm still getting to know this one. We're still in the first stages of our relationship, and we'll be spending a lot of time together. So look inside here, nice orange color, room to wiggle my legs around, a little bit of room anyway, and nice little spot here for my head. So when there's no rain, when there's no snow, you can look up at the stars. Beautiful from right here. But for now, if it's raining or it's pretty cold, you want the tent layer on. So yeah, really solid little tent. The next step is you can't sleep in here like this, so let's look at the sleeping setup. So from a sleeping mat perspective, there's one thing that I've missed out here, and that is that I would bring another tarp. Now the tarp would be for a ground sheet on the tent. Because the ground freezes at night time and it gets so cold, you want more than one layer there, and this very cheap sleeping pad that I'm still using. So this is ashamedly a Temu purchase. I got it for about $23 in 2024, and it's by the brand Nature Hike. They're not the cheapest, and they're actually pretty good quality, and I've been using this on a lot of trips, and it's still going well. Packs up to be very small. It's literally smaller than a lightweight sleeping bag, and weighs next to nothing. So let's ravel it out and let's take a look at it. So I've taken the fly off the tent for this segment, just so you can see inside, but this is our sleeping mat. It's got some grease stains on it from delicious meals, but we fold out just like this, and then we've got a little two-way valve here, so it's open at the moment. Looks like it's gonna start raining. Pop open the two-way valve, and you can either bring a little air compressor, but save weight, do it with your lungs. All right, and that's it. So it'll almost make you pass out every single time, but we've got our sleeping mat. It's pretty thin. I think it's only just over an inch thick, as it starts to rain a little bit heavier for me, which is beautiful, but very flexible, so it fits in really easily and gives you that nice little bit of lift off the ground. It's just air, but really, really good little sleeping mat. Let's take a look at it inside. Here it is inside. So you can see my body is less than the width of this, and then space either side to put things. Now, a piece of luxury, not absolutely essential, but I like to bring this, is our little inflatable pillow. Weighs absolutely nothing. Again, ashamedly another Temu purchase, but really worth its weight in gold. Here we go. 2 seconds to get up. It fits in really nicely there. I am going to put the tent tarp over my gear because it's starting to rain quite heavy. So in an interesting turn of events, I'm now dealing with the rain. So you're in the tent and I'm out of the tent. But it's actually raining so much, I'm gonna get in the tent. Hello. Wow. Good time to test out if this tent is waterproof. All right. So, before we get into sleeping bags, because I think that's best done while you are outside of the tent, I'm gonna do up the fly because I'm getting wet. Let's go through some miscellaneous items that you need to bring in winter on a backpacking hiking trip. First thing we'll talk about is a cooker. Or I should say as well, that pillow, inflatable pillow, this guy right here, cost me $10 from Temu. So far, if we add it all up, we're at $333. Brand new tent, sleeping mat, and pillow. Some may say in summer, that's all you need. All right, next thing, cooker. This is a 360 degrees portable sort of jet boil type system. We'll open it up. I picked this up secondhand for $40, which you can definitely find it for cheaper than that, but mine was $40 because it did come with some of the guys' lunch before me, so you gotta worship that. Basically, one of these little screw-on cook stoves. I'll put a clip in of me using it in action, and then with that, you just bring one of these little gas burners. Now this gas burner I think was about $6 or $7. You can get smaller ones than this if you want to go ultra lightweight, but apparently you can boil 500 milliliters of water something like 60 times with just this gas bottle, so it goes a long way. The forecast said it wasn't going to rain. All right, so from a cooking point of view, that's what we got. Oh, what are you doing down there? Now, it's very fitting that it's raining because this is a winter video. Next thing we should talk about, and is quite fitting, is dry bags. So I tend to bring 2 dry bags. First one, and again this is specifically to winter. In summer I don't tend to bring them because they are a little bit heavy. First one is this really small dry bag, and this one is for technology. So filming videos like this, if you're gone for 4 days, you need power banks, you need GoPro batteries, you need chargers, and it all ends up being quite heavy, and if it's pissing with rain, you really don't want them to get wet. So that's where this little dry bag comes in handy. It's got a strap on it so I can wear it on the front. And yeah, really handy for wet weather. Next one is this bag here. Blue bag, 15 liters, probably weighs 200 grams. And I tend to either put my clothes in this, or sometimes I will put food in it, depending, mostly clothes. And if you didn't want to bring a pillow, you can just use this as a pillow stuffed with clothes. But it's really nice to keep your hut or camping clothes dry. So that's what that's for. Now I should say as well, the first little bag, this one costs me nothing. It was gifted to me. So make your friends and family known that you love hiking, and you will get things for free out of love. Don't forget to give it back in return, because family is golden. All right, and friends. This one came a part of a package deal when I first got into hiking. I bought this package for $150. It came with a shitty tent, came with the cooker with someone's lunch in it, and this. So I'm gonna say this cost me about $10, because that package was $100 and it came with lots of things. There we go. Now another miscellaneous item is the life straw. Now, a famous channel member, Xing, she bought this for me, or for us, for $100 brand new. Now, I believe in not the bottle form, but in just the pen filter, it's a lot cheaper. I think it might be $50 or $60, but worth it. You can get those aqua tablets, but I don't trust those, and you can just drink straight from the river. But I'm a guy that prefers the company of myself, not worms in my stomach. So for that reason, we go with the life straw. Pick one up. I've been using this for like 2 years, and you should definitely replace the filter in that time, but I've still been drinking through it and I haven't got sick. So, can vouch for this product right here, Life Straw sponsorship. Another one is footwear. So, these are stinky because I just got back from a trip a few days ago, but these are Asics Gel Trabuco. They're not the newest one. I picked them up for $100. And yeah, I prefer to wear trail runners, even if there's mud and things like that, because they just dry out really easily, particularly if you can have a fire going. And the weight of them and comfort is just, can't beat it. I've never worn hiking boots, and I probably never will. It can mean you can get slippy and things like that. And another thing I should add is, with those shoes, is a set of mini, like, ice crampons. Not big ones, but you can get little mini ones online that I'm still waiting to arrive, for snowy conditions, because you definitely is going to get snowy down in winter. So you want to be prepared. But unrivaled, I can vouch for this shoe. I've probably walked 2,000 kilometers in it. That might be an exaggeration, but a lot of Ks, and it's a beautiful, beautiful shoe. Oh, it stopped raining. All right, we can get on with the bigger items then. All right, and with some favourable weather now, despite a very wet floor, we can move on and talk about sleeping bags. So, the sleeping bag I'm currently using this winter is appropriately nicknamed Big Bertha. And that's because she is huge. Now, I bought this online from Mountain Warehouse, on sale for about $150. It's synthetic, so it's not a down sleeping bag, which means two things. It's heavy, so this probably weighs more than my tent, and two, it's bulky. So packed up weight is way bigger than my tent, and it's actually quite inconvenient, but it's rated down to 0 degrees comfort level, -10 limit. So with some clothes on inside, it keeps you really warm. And if you want to go a budget sleeping bag and don't want to buy a second-hand one, this is the best option, I'd say, and you're just going to have to cop less space in your bag. If you can afford to buy a down sleeping bag, more in that $400 to $500 category, which I'll get eventually, totally worth it. But let's take a look at it. So I should say this is the Micro Light. Yeah, that's a bit of an oxymoron. 1400, so it's one of the warmest sleeping bags they have. And you can pick these up second-hand for pretty cheap as well. I just preferred to buy it brand new. So, you can see here, it's a nice orange style which matches the tent, and it's a right-hand zip and super warm inside. It's a mummy style, so it's got this foot box there, again, sort of like a cylindrical foot box. So there is space to move around, but it can feel a bit like you're in a coffin along with this tent. But overall, really solid sleeping bag, despite the obvious drawbacks. Now, if I'm really concerned about being cold, I will bring this other summer sleeping bag, which is actually a down sleeping bag, and this was gifted to me, so it's free. very kindly, but it's very, very old. It's lost a lot of the down, and I've used it in about 10 degrees and it was just warm enough. So if I'm worried about snow, I'm worried about being really cold, it weighs nothing and packs up very lightly. I will bring this and wear it inside of this sleeping bag. Maybe inefficient, but it's just the way I do things. Now, the next thing to talk about would be rain gear. As much as you can look at the forecast and be hopeful, it does rain, particularly in New Zealand and in most places in winter. So you want to be prepared for that. The two things that I mainly pack for rain, it's not the best setup, but I bring waterproof pants and I bring a rain poncho. Checking out the waterproof pants, these are from Mountain Warehouse and I got them on sale for $25 or $30. And I think that's a great bang for buck, brand new. Again, look for these secondhand, but waterproof pants. Go over the top of your pants, you can still get into your pockets and you're not going to get wet. Now, second thing is this gigantic rain poncho that I picked up off Temu. Again, very ashamed about that. For about $8. Now, I haven't actually used this on a hiking trip yet. But the benefit is it's actually big enough that I can have my backpack on as well. So I can have my rain cover over my backpack and put this on over the top. Weighs nothing for $8, a little bit of a no-brainer, just have it in your pack if you use it or not. Now, let's go through some other small miscellaneous items that will often be overlooked on your first or second hiking trip. Remembering gear is specifically important in winter. So, lighting. It's dark out in the woods. You want to be able to see. I got this light here for $2 and I can hang it up in my tent. It's got a few different settings and it's great to get USB chargeable ones because then if you've got your power banks, you can charge them up if they go out. Next thing I got here is this head torch. Again, very cheap. Got this for $5 online and USB chargeable, 5 lights, does the job. Next thing I bring is a Swiss Army knife. Really, really handy. It's got everything in it. I actually got this gifted to me again, so again, tell your family what you want, tell your friends what you want. And yeah, very sentimental, this one here. So, Swiss Army knife. From a cutlery point of view, I tend to eat out of the cooker, but these are two things that I do bring. I bring a spork, again, which is very kindly gifted to me, and a collapsible camping cup. Tends to be really good for having coffee and also eating cereal or small breakfast items out of it. Weighs nothing, takes up no space. I think brand new, these are like maybe, I mean it's Cedar Summit, so it's probably overpriced, but secondhand, really good. Also can come with someone's breakfast. And this spork, probably overpriced as well. Gerber, but again, great gift. And then some other miscellaneous items. I always bring antihistamines because me and pollen don't get along and you don't want to be sneezing all night. Zinc, sunscreen, have to. Earplugs in case you're in a hut and someone is snoring away. Asthma puffer, would be lost without this. Emergency blanket. Never had to use it luckily, but reflective, so windproof and keeps you super warm. Again, pick this up for about $4 online, have it in your pack, and no one likes a stinky hiker. If you're alone, maybe save on weight, don't bring it, but if you're gonna be with someone, bring some deodorant. So that is really the meat and potatoes of what's in my hiking bag, my gear list for winter 2025. What I'm gonna do now is put a compilation of items on the screen that I have looked over that I would normally bring, and by the end of it, we're gonna put a total on the screen of how much it's cost to set up my lightweight budget backpacking gear list for winter 2025. Let's get into the items I forgot.
as you can see, the total cost is nearly 770 New Zealand dollars, or about 750 Australian dollars. Now, it's a lot more expensive to go hiking in winter just because you do need more gear, and particularly if there's going to be snow, you need good gear. I've just completed my first winter hiking mission here in New Zealand, hence why I invested in this gear. I would still call this an extremely low budget for this type of activity, as the prices can definitely get up there. But the idea is try and get it as cheap as you can so you can get out there and have some fun. Now, with all that said, if you watched through to this part of the video, I owe you a really big thank you. And if you leave a comment or subscribe, that means the world to me. So, I've got very exciting things in the works. There's an epic 4-day adventure in the edit, and it'll be out in the next coming weeks. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks a lot.